Rick the critic, 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 Rick the critic. When she come into your place, yo, you best not forget it. She gon' tell you how it is, cause she's Rick the critic. When she all up in your city, yo, you best not forget it. Let you know if she like it, and if she get with it, let the whole world know and be the first to admit it. Let you know if it's good and if she dig it, cause she's Rick the critic, Rick the critic, Rick the critic, Rick the critic.
Hi, I'm Rick the critic, and welcome. Thank you for allowing me to come into your home today. Listen, we're going to be talking about a lot of things today. We're going to be talking about how we can save some money. We're going to be talking about spending money in places where they don't appreciate it. And if they don't appreciate our money, then we need to start taking it somewhere else, or at least start thinking about it. I think that at some point in time, we've got so accustomed to just accepting things. I mean, people, period. And it has nothing to do with race or anything of that or culture. It's just that as a people, we've just gotten to a point where we've just gotten very relaxed. We look on the television and we see where people are doing terrible things to food now, these franchises, and we continue to patronize these places. So there's no accountability. I need to know when they hired this person. You know, I don't think that people just do things just overnight. I don't believe that. I don't believe that things just happen. I believe that we always get a warning about anything that takes place. I believed, and I still believe that we get a warning. Things don't just happen. I want to believe that when they hired this guy or this girl or whomever to work in this place and with this disgusting behavior, that he had to have a certain look. I mean, I do not believe the guy came in with a shirt and tie on and looking very clean. I don't believe that. I believe when they hired him, he looked just like he looked, and it is what it is. We have got to stop just making allowances. We have got to stop accepting things the way they are, just taking it. We don't have to do that, people. We don't have. This country is run because of us. What we do and how we spend our money and all the things that we put into whatever it is, it's us. And so when we get people that are not held accountable or there's no accountability, guess what? It's on us. It's not on them. So I'm saying this because I'm just doggone angry and doggone pissed off about all the events that I've heard in the past 2 weeks, even down to the man last night when I turned on the news. I don't even want to look at the news anymore. I mean, it was like the guy killed his girlfriend, and then the guy says, well, it was bound to happen. Well, okay, so now, again, we're talking about warnings. And here's a guy before that, I think last week he went in, he thought he was going to lose his job. So I mean, come on. I mean, people are angry, and it doesn't give them the right to take a life. It doesn't give them the right. But what I am saying is this. A lot of times those situations can be diffused if people would have some empathy. Now, I want to believe that if somebody came into the station and said, well, listen, I'm about to blow it, lose it, or whatever, there are enough people in this station with empathy that would say, wait a minute, hold it. What is it that you need? I mean, you need some food. What do you need? I mean, we have people that we see walking back and forth through this station, on the outside in the parking lot, that people notice. And I mean, there's an act of kindness. There's some type of, giving that's going on. Not so much as an embarrassing situation where they make it where, hey, you look like you need something, but just the extension of, hey, listen, I thought about you. Here's this, here's that. Sometimes I was standing in the grocery store, standing next to a lady that was very, very well dressed. And we were talking about rice and mango. Over at Ralph's, over in Hastings, they have this wonderful rice and mango, and I think it's cilantro and something else mixed in it, but it's really very good. And one of the ladies at the station is a vegetarian, and so I thought, oh, that might be good for her. I'm not a real big rice eater. And so the lady standing next to me said, oh yeah, she said, it's really, it's really very good. She says, and I have to always find things that are either cold or things that are microwavable because I live in a motel. And as she's saying this, I just kind of turned around and looked. I mean, here's this well-dressed woman, and I'm thinking to myself, a motel. So what I'm saying is that we don't know who's going through what. Because they have on an Armani suit or because they have on a St. John knit does not necessarily mean that everything is just peachy keen for them. So let's just take the time when we're standing next to, instead of just like, or talking to people like these people over on Lake and New York Drive. And I think we talked about it last month. I talked about how you go in to get gas, to buy gasoline, and they take your money, and then when you get out, the pumps don't work, and then they tell you, well, just get premium. I mean, come on. Enough already. Now then, if something real crazy happened there, no one would ever get that, there was something that worked up to that. The only thing that would happen would be that we would think, oh, what a shame. What happened when that thing could have been diffused a long time ago? This is not the time for people to talk to people. There is no reason, never a reason for inappropriate behavior. There is never a reason to talk down to people. People are going through a lot of things. There are a lot of things going on in people's homes, with their marriages, with their families. And because we can't tell because they don't wear it on the outside, we just tend to feel like we can just say anything. There's road rage. It takes just a, you know what, let me tell you something. And I want you to try this because I'm telling you, this works. When I'm driving in the car and when I want to change lanes, I put on my blinker, and when I notice that someone doesn't want me to come, doesn't want to let me go in, as I'm sliding over, I have my hand out, I'm just waving, thank you. And as I move in and I'm saying, thank you, they always draw back. And once they let me in, I can look in my rearview mirror and they've probably given me maybe 500 feet. Not only that, they also allow someone else to come in right behind me. And you know what that tells me? That tells me that that little gesture of thank you, thank you. Just that gesture makes them feel like, you know what, it's appreciated. I know how angry I used to get when people would just pull in front of me and not say thank you, or I would allow them to come in. It was almost like, well, you gotta let me in. No, you don't have to let them in. You don't have to be polite. You don't have to be courteous, but it's nicer to be courteous. It's nicer and it's easier to be. It's less stressful. But if you let someone in and they're just saying thank you, just try it. Honest. Just try it. When you get in the car and you're driving and you want, just when they let you in, just thank you. Just, and you'll notice it never fails. They'll back up. I mean, it's almost like they just stop and you're in, and you must have probably, I'm telling you, at least 100 feet. I'm telling you, just try it. I always do. And I always, thank you. And they let me in. I don't know if they think I'm a nutty woman driver and it's like, just let her in. I don't know what it is, but I do know that act of thank you and that gratitude goes a long way. Not just with driving, it's with anything. Even when I'm calling to talk to people, people are so accustomed to you calling there griping and complaining and all this other good stuff that when you call there and you actually say to them, listen, I just wanted to tell you that I really appreciate, the service. I came in, the service was great. I mean, it just takes it to a whole new level. I have a lady that's really nice with me with my Aflac, and I mean, she just kind of goes the extra mile for me. I mean, When I call her, she answers my questions. I mean, it's not that regular when you get on the phone. It's, press 1 and press 2 and press, and I tell you the other thing that's very irritating to me is when I call and I'm talking to people in another country. It is amazing to me. I don't know if this the labor is cheap or what it is. And it's no reflection. It has nothing to do with them because it's a job for them. But I do feel like the company that hires them should at least train them to number one, understand what we're saying. Number two, you know what I'm saying, have some empathy, kind of understand the situation or how things go here. If I'm living in India, my way of business may be totally different from the way it's done in the United States. So guess what? When I'm talking to you about my problem or how my service is acting and that my service is poor or whatever, to them in India, that may not be a big thing to them because that may not be an issue for them, but it's an issue for me here. So if you're going to hire people from other countries, then you should at least train them, on how business is done here in the United States. It's just good policy. It is so frustrating to get on the telephone and you're talking to someone and they tell you, well, listen, I'm in another state or I'm in another country, or they even have some companies that hire federal prisoners. They're women in the federal prison and they answer the telephone. So I'm doing telemarketing and all kind of stuff. So now, if you're going to go outside of all these people, that really actually need jobs here, and you're going to get if it's cheaper labor or what have you, at least hire some Americans to teach the program or teach them the way business is done in the United. Just like when we go to Japan or we go to Korea, business is done totally different there. They have a way that their culture that they do business there. We have a way that we do business here as Westerners. But we take the time to learn how to do, if we're doing business with other countries, we take the time to learn what it is that's inappropriate or unacceptable to allow us to do business with them. We need that same courtesy. It is very frustrating when somebody gets on the phone and they do not speak English and they are not understanding what I'm saying. I had a guy on the telephone and I'm asking him this question and I'm saying to him, listen, I need to know, I have a medical policy and I need to know. And he's telling me, well, I'm not from, and it's like, what's that got to do with it? You work for this company. Don't you have a manual or something that you have to read that allows you to answer my questions? Or can you get off the telephone and give me a supervisor that may be able to answer my question? Okay, so, listen, it's frustrating. Companies, please, please spend the extra money, do the training, make them go through the training. If they don't go through the training, it's very frustrating. And in the end, you're going to lose good customers and you're not going to have a very good customer base simply because there's some little steps that you can take to keep these things and keep people from getting frustrated and changing services. There are enough utility companies out here that are just scrambling for our business. There are enough banks out here that are scrambling. I mean, they really want our business. So if you're not going to be very well, the word that I'm looking for is what? If you're not going to be concerned, you have to understand that you're going to lose a lot of customers, especially, like I said, the customers when we're doing a mail order and if we're doing things over the telephone with different companies and that sort of thing. Now, 24-hour fitness, I talked about them earlier. I'm a little ticked off of them, but before I talk about them, I want to talk about Chase. Chase took over Washington Mutual. I went over to cash a client's check and they charged me $5. I got a real problem with that. I got a problem when I'm paying you to cash your customer's check. I don't know how crazy that may sound to anybody else, but it sounds really crazy to me. I'm going to pay you. So now what I have to do when I accept the check from a client, now what I have to do is tell them, listen, either one or two things can happen. Number one, either I'm not going to do your banking for you, or number two, you're going to have to add another $5 on to what you're giving me in order for me to go to the bank to cash your check. Yes, I could put it through my bank account. Yes, I could do that. But I don't have time to do that. I mean, it's easier for me to go to their bank because a lot of times I have the same clients that bank at the same place, and if I'm getting charged $5, $5, $5, I mean, it could really mount up to something big. So I'm having a real problem with you, Chase, asking for $5 here in Altadena to Washington Mutual customers. And I hope all you other Washington Mutual customers feel the same way I do, because we've got to say something. We're going to have to stand and say, look, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Now then, I want to get on some other things, a couple of things. I want to talk about, I was talking to a young lady the other day, and she had to be all of maybe 24, 25. And she was buying some things. She was going to a fast food place. And I said to her, you know, for what you pay for soul food, you know, cornmeal, you could buy some cornmeal and you could get some hot water and you can make some hot water cornbread. You can go to the store, you can buy some greens. Yeah, it takes a minute to clean them, but it makes a nice big pot of greens. You can buy some yams, you can, you know what I'm saying? And all of those three little things don't cost a lot of money if you learn how to cook. I am challenging you, young ladies, today. Take some cooking classes. If you don't, you're going to find that we're going to have more diabetes and juvenile diabetes in little people, because the more fast foods that we give them, the more we go to Jack in the Box, the more that we go to McDonald's, the more that we go to these, you know, quick. All it's doing is making them larger, and it's also giving, they're also having problems with diabetes. It is a terrible thing to see a little infant that you have to give a shot of insulin to, that's not even a year, that can't even actually give the insulin to themselves. They're just little babies that you have to give insulin to. It's just not a pretty sight. It's really a very sad sight, and I know it firsthand because I've seen it. So what I'm challenging you to do is start to buy some flour, start to buy some cornmeal, start practicing in that kitchen in there. There are some cooking classes out there. If you look on television, you've got, oh man, he is just so handsome. What is his name? G. Garth. Is that his name? Does anyone know? He is like so handsome. And Emerald is handsome too. I like him too. But they've got so many, so many cooking classes, and they've got some 30-minute. I think Rachel Ray does some little 30-minute or 30-second cook type things. But you know what, guys? Let's go back to basics. And if we can go back to basics, with global warming and all of these other things that are coming up, we need to get back to basics. We've got too many things going on. We can't even drive down the street without talking on the cell phone. We can't, there's just things that we just cannot do anymore that we obviously live with. Do you know, I actually went without a cell phone for as long as I could, up until about maybe 4-5 years, because it irritated me that someone could call me wherever I was and just stop me from doing whatever I was doing. That bothers me. It took me a long time to do the call waiting thing, because I hated the fact that when I'm talking to someone, that beep beep comes through and it's like, hold on a minute. That is just the rudest thing in the world to me. I just didn't like it. And then what we used to do is we talked on the telephone. We finished talking and we set up a time to meet, and we would come together. We would play cards. We would play bridge. We'd play canasta. We'd go in the backyard. We'd play croquet. Let's get back to doing some family things. I mean, to go to the show nowadays, it's like a small fortune, even though everybody's trying to, bring things down a little bit. Let's just start doing what we used to do. Let's start having fun again. Let's start playing Monopoly at home, with the family. Let's have family night again. You know what used to happen? Do you know that it used to be a time when there was someone, everybody in the neighborhood had one. Ours, her name was Mrs. Not Miss Smith, Miss Gussie. Oh my God. Everybody has one in the neighborhood. Everybody has one where they sit on the front porch and they see everything going on. And when they see you, they tell you, I'm gonna tell your mama that you was doing such and such and such, and you like, oh God, please, just beat me now, but don't tell my mother, don't tell my parents, just beat me now. And they would just sit there, and by the time they got through verbally whipping you, and then when they told your mother or your father, and then they got you, that was like 3 whippings. And so we stayed in line. You know what I've noticed? What I've noticed is that there aren't any porches anymore. There aren't porches for people to sit on. And I hear people saying all the time, you can't say anything to these people's children, because that is a lie. That is a lie, and I'll tell you why. I have been in places and I have heard children where they were cursing and using obscenities, and I've turned around and said, listen, you are hurting my ears. You are going to have to stop that profanity. And they, oh, okay, ma'am, I'm sorry. Children need structure. You don't have to belittle them. You don't have to talk down to them, but you can let them know in a way that they need to respect you as an adult. Yes, there are some that, you know what I mean, that are just out there. And for those that are just out there like that, they got some people that are bigger and badder than them that'll match wits with them. Trust me. So if they act ugly with you, trust me, they will run across someone that they won't be able to act ugly with. But I'm saying all of this to say, and it sounds like I'm just kind of going around in circles, but all of these things that are happening and that I'm talking about now, all of these things are making for these situations that we are now being, that we're being faced with. I mean, when we look at the killings, when we look at all of the things that are happening, even down to the food and all these other things. What I'm talking about today is just us just being aware and just knowing that we need to come together and do things like we used to do them. It's not going to be easy because we've gotten out of the habit of going over to mom's house because mom may be dead. We've gotten out of the habit of going, our sisters and brothers, sometimes we're estranged from them. But listen, we need to get back to basics. We need to get back to sitting on the front porch and being aware of what's going on in our neighborhood. We need to know who our neighbors are on each side of us. When we see that young lady out there with the 2 little kids, we need to say, come in here, baby. Let me show you how to make, pancakes. Let me show you how to make hot water cornbread. Let me show you how to clean greens. Let me show you how to fry chicken. We're going to have to do that. And it's better that we do it by choice than they come and knock on the doors. The churches, they can't go to the churches anymore. There are very few churches in the community that you can actually go and knock on the door and say, listen, I'm hungry or I need a bill paid. The first thing they ask you is, are you a tithe payer? The second thing, are you a member of our church? That's crazy because churches were not set up for that, but that's what they're doing. So when these people have nowhere to go, when they go to the churches and the churches turn them away and just say, look, you're not a member of our church and you're not a tithe payer, then where did they go? So if we can open up our door to them and open up our hearts to these people and say, look, it was so easy. It is so easy for us to be nice to people that are nice to us. It's even harder for us to be nice to people that aren't nice to us. Let's start making a conscious effort from this point on that when we see people, let's learn how to try to do something nice. I mean, if it's nothing but just a kind word, if it's nothing but thank you, as you're changing lanes. If it's just, hey, young lady, listen, let me give you some greens. Well, what am I going to do with them? Come on inside. Let me show you how to cook greens. Come on inside. Let me show you how to make hot water cornbread. Come on inside. Let me show you how to make yams, baked yams, where your babies can be filled and you don't have to go to these fast food franchises and possibly your baby end up with diabetes or something even worse, obesity, all these other things that are attached to. When I was in General Hospital a few days ago and I fell, You could not imagine the number of people that were there. There was a 15 to 30-hour wait in the emergency room. That is a vast amount of hours. That is a lot of people that need to be seen by doctors. And why? Because of just a few preventions, just a few things that we can do just with each other. And if we do it with each other and it kind of spreads, we can cut those things down. I am just very, very, just, I'm appalled at when I look around and I just see all the things that are going on around me. And when you become aware and you start to really just stop and just look at the things that are going, start looking around. Take inventory of your neighborhood. Take inventory. Make sure if you don't see your neighbor come out for a day or two, don't just write it off as they're out of town. Knock on the door. Hey, you all right? You know what I'm saying? Let's learn how to be able to be accountable for one another. What's going to happen, and it's going to be very, very soon, is we're going to have to do it by choice, not by choice. So if we get to know Mr. Wilson and we get to know Mrs. Jones on either side of us, and we do it by choice now, it won't be so hard when we need Mrs. Jones or Mr. Wilson to give us a glass of water, or Mrs. Jones to, share a loaf of bread with us. It won't be that hard. We never know when we may have a catastrophe. There's Katrinas, there's tsunamis, there's all kind of things going on. Let's learn how to be nice to one another. Let's learn how to love one another. And by all means, let's learn how to appreciate each other. And by all means, when we're doing business with businesses, learn businesses, number one, that we are the customer, and learn first that we are always right, okay? Listen, I've had a wonderful time today, and I hope that this has been a learning experience. I'm Rick the Critic. I thank you for welcoming me into your home. And again, it was always nice talking with you. Good night, and have a wonderful, wonderful week. And let's just hope that this heat kind of settles down a little bit and we get more April showers, bring May flowers. Good night.
Critic, critic, Rick, the critic, Rick, the critic, critic, Rick, the critic, Rick, the critic, critic, Rick, the critic, Rick, the critic. When she come into your place, yo, you best not forget it. She gon' tell you how it is, cause she's Rick the critic. When she all up in your city, yo, you best not forget it. Let you know if she like it, and if she get with it, let the whole world know and be the first to admit it. Let you know if she's good and if she dig it, cause she's Rick the critic, Rick the critic, critic, Rick the critic, Rick the critic. She the first to admit it if she can't dig it, cause she's Rick the critic, Rick the critic, critic, Rick the critic, Rick the critic, critic, Rick the critic, Rick the critic, critic, Rick the critic.